Oh, she... Hello, Shan. Oh, crap. Hey, Cyclone. Hey, Sassy? The real Sassy? Where does the name Mini come from? Have a guess. First time chatter. Hello, Shano. Shano Boomin. Shano Boomin. Hmm. So just looking at the veto. Obviously, Vitality went with banning Pro, which means that they just think they're the better team. I don't think that either team would have changed the veto, if that makes sense. I think both teams wanted to play these 3 maps, so I do think that the veto slightly favors Fnatic in this situation, but like not by much. Like I know technically if Vitality lost the game of chicken here by banning Pro, but I don't think they would have picked Icebox anyway. I think this veto would have gone the same even if they lost the game, if they won the game of chicken. I have ranked in the title. That's weird. It must have reset. I hate. I have like a mix, stream mixer thing that I think. Why Fnatic banning Pro? Because they don't like Pro. What do you mean? I won't be casting this week, no. Fnatic spam like 3 attack defaults the whole of Lotus. You say that like that's a bad, like 3 attack defaults is quite a lot of defaults for Lotus. Like, what do you mean? Like we've had maps where we spam the same 1 default for like a year. Do I know Italian? No, but I like Italian food. Why would you think I would know Italian? What gives off the vibe that I would know Italian? Like oh, okay, you're saying it was good. Okay. Right. I might not get through it all. I definitely won't get through it all because I need to go at like 8. Hello, just nothing. So we're gonna start with split. And when I was watching, I was preparing for the game after because I was casting the game after. When I was watching, I thought that Fnatic probably should have won this map. So we'll see what happened. Thank you very much, Plumber Rap. Plumber Rap. Plume Berape. Oh, that gets a bit weird. Sorry.
Start this one out, Tom. What's your impression of how we've ended up in this veto split Lotus and Haven?
Durka won Lock-In, Master Tokyo, and VCT EMEA 2024 Season 1 and Season 2 with Fnatic.
Lean to either team?
But the interesting thing is you go back to what last
okay, comp-wise, one of the things that I'm going to note is that this is a slight variation on the old comp they ran. So this used to be Cypher, and this used to be Breach. And so, and this used to be Omen. Oh, that still makes that noise. I thought I turned that off. Oh. Yeah. Oh, that's annoying. So what that means, you don't have to think about this as much. This one you don't think about as much for attack. You don't need to, it's fine. We don't need to think about that. But these two are the things that we need to think about for attack, okay? So, what do these two agents do that these two agents don't? So quickly, to explain a couple of things. Just off the rip, let's talk about Oma versus Astra, because that's the simple one. It's like Omen obviously has better exec power, in my opinion, than the Astra. Like, you could put stars down for, you know, stuff backside. But ultimately, I think the Paranoia is obviously going to be better, especially on split. You know, you can't even do stuff like around here, etc. So the exec power is slightly lower with the Omen and the Astra. But what Astra excels at more on this map is, you know, the taking of middle and re-clearing space. So like you could, you know, dissipate into space a bit easier. So generally she's better for map control, but Omen's better at execing. And then the same is kind of true for the Breach versus the Fade, right? So the Fade is good at like taking map control, especially around middle, but the Breach is just better at straight execs, right? So we're in a situation, well, it's better at clearing out space, but I would argue that the Breach, having the Breach allows you to do like the stuns and events that punishes the Vipers. So this is one thing that I think that Fnatic needed to look at a little bit, is like, they have all this util from middle, the Astra Stars and the Fade Prowlers, but they were never able to actually brute force through the orb on timings. They were struggling to get through the orb. They were struggling to explode through the orb, so they need to figure out a way to do that. The other thing is that, like, if you're struggling at middle because there's like multiple people, let's say there's 3 people like middle or something, then that's when you kind of want to go into like the site execs with the Yoru and the Rays. But when you have Astra Fade and not Breach Omen, like your exec straight through mains is obviously worse. And so like with this composition, you're kind of forced to kind of prod the map a bit more and take middle control a little bit more to soften up for the execs. Whereas with this comp, you can get away with like a tiny bit of mid pressure and then just go straight into these execs because they're so strong, because you have double dive and paranoia and stun, right? So that's something that we'll be looking at for this game. It's like how the change in comp for Fnatic has changed their style, and then potentially looking at problems that they have, especially around the orb, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's where my theory is right now. What about Viper over Cypher? Viper over Cypher is less about attack side. So if where the fuck did I put my Valor plant? Viper versus Cypher is very similar, right? Like, it's just about containing A space, right? They both are pretty much just going to be stood around here, containing A space, and then lurking up here on timings. The Viper allows for the A splits a little bit nicer because the wall kind of protects you going up through the vents. And then also they had an orb middle. I think Fnatic using an orb like middle to help through the enemy's Viper orb. But this again is like, if they're using the orb and stars and a fade and they couldn't go through middle still sometimes, or we're taking so long at middle, then we have to question it a little bit about how they were struggling. So defense is where these two agents shift their priority. On attack, they pretty much are doing the same job. So there's not, for attack side, we don't need to think about it too much. Oh wait, they started defense. Fuck. Fuck. It's explained all this attack theory. Defense, so quickly, the Viper is going to be, you know, more on middle, right? The biggest difference between Cypher and Viper is Cypher is more played towards the extremities, and then Viper's more in the middle. I don't want to draw a dick, but that's what that was becoming. Because everyone loves using this Viper Orb, and as I will probably explain later, even Fnatic are struggling against this Viper Orb, I think. So the Orb just allows you to kind of play around the space, rotate freely, deny middle as long as possible. Whereas Cypher, you know, he could put the trip middle to help, but ultimately wants to play a more anchored position most of the time. In this meta, Viper is starting to feel a little bit stronger than the Cypher. The exec power coming in onto Cypher means that it's extremely hard for Cyphers to get as much value, I think, as before. Double dive in the past, like we quite like the Cypher to kind of like get some chip damage, maybe get a cheeky kill. But with the Teo execs, it feels very overwhelming. I do think there probably is ways to play Cypher a little bit more retake style, but ultimately, I think Viper's doing a pretty good job of, you know, preventing these Teo execs a bit more, maybe. Anyway.
And Vitality have gone with the exact same pull. So clearly feeling
So opening part for Fnatic, a strange wall on middle. It's gonna allow the Yoru to walk down middle. We see a heavy A stack with some delay here. I wonder where Kron's orb is actually. Did he buy orb this round?
sort of
It's very possible.
Another impression with the
up. And
This is one of those moments where I really wish that we could actually see what's going on the minimap. I'm gonna call that I think his orb's gonna be like here. And then probably playing for retake if necessary. Delay and retake.
and Vitality have gone with the exact same pull. So clearly feeling very comfortable where they ended up. But that also gives the tape over to Fnatic.
But yeah, it looks like a very as like I know Jake's kind of style on pistols a lot. This looks like a kind of game plan, anti-strat kind of thing.
Within the first seconds of the round, but could just all be a ruse. The rest of the team is still patient.
I remember this. So Durka feels like he has with the space, but Alpha just stands still. And it's a bit awkward for Durka here, honestly. What was the idea from Vitality?
GX matchup.
Fake A
Vitality have gone with the exact same.
to allow for mid pressure more?
Clearly feeling very comfortable where they ended up, but that also gives the tape over to Fnatic. Durka, though, he is looking to battle and brawl within the first seconds of the round, but could just all be a ruse. The rest of the team is still patiently waiting back in mid.
Yeah, and you've still got that gate crash down inside sewers as well, so a decent fallback option.
I think because Dirk has a space, they go back to him, I guess is the call. But look at his proactivity on defense. This is something that I think that we saw Fnatic lose the last time on this map to BBL because they were like losing defense rounds and they were refusing to take like proactively like taking space, especially on the B side of the map. And I think with the fade, they should be looking to do that a lot more, obviously. I don't think they actually use the fade on defense to do that too much, but they're at least thinking about it as a team. Like, these two are just going to go clear B main. Because otherwise their other option is to stay here and here, right? And then if they get B exec or B split on, they're just going to lose. Whereas if they play together, they can isolate, you know. If there's any questions you guys got, let me know, because I feel like I'm trying my best to like I wanna watch this from like and explain it from like a way that I would like to explain it. But I also am wary that like I know on broadcast that I'm gonna have to, you know, make sure that it is accessible. Like I know that like on stream is not gonna be as accessible because I just don't, you know, it's not the same. I know that the average rank here isn't like gold, you know what I mean, or silver. It's going to be a bit higher. And this is mostly for my own enjoyment, to be honest with you, so. Sorry. Yeah, Alpha's just overcommitting. But the push through and then flank is nice. Like, this is looking nice from Fnatic. Jake's kind of stuck sight a little bit, but I think if I'm Kron there, I would have joined with. I think I would have joined up. It's lucky that for Fnatic that Les has been killed, but you just let one person go and then you just bait the fuck out of that one person. So like Kron could bait Kayak, and then when Kayak kind of takes contact and dies, then he goes after or something. Or just double up, I guess.
Looking rough at this stage for the side of Vitality. Boaster just playing passive, a wraparound already.
A lot of this stuff is now just micro. People are like hitting shots or getting trades and stuff, so it's not too interesting. Boaster did very well to survive and get kill. Why do you think Fnatic aren't doing Breach Teo comps? I think on this map, I would, if I was them, I would play Teo. Like, I think they want to play double duelist instead of the Yoru, instead of the Breach Teo here. But I think if they want to play double duelist, I think you just make this Teo. I think that teams are undervaluing the idea of a Teo solo initiator. I presume that there's probably some co-streamers that probably have the idea that like Teo solo is bad, because I keep seeing the take on like Reddit and Twitter and like Twitch chat and stuff. So I presume that like co-streamers have said it's bad, but I think that solo Teo is absolutely fine in a lot of situations. This is one of those situations where a solo Teo would be very strong. I think that Teo is just a better agent than Fade in this composition. Thank you, T-Bag. T-Bags? T-Bags? T-Bigs. Thank you very much. I like the name. Do you think solo Teo on the Fnatic comp is good? Yes. Yes. Like, we'll look at it later on the attack side especially, but I don't see why it wouldn't be better. Like, I can see some more value on defense with Fade, potentially with like a bit more information, but fuck me, sorry for the noise. I don't know how to turn it off. But attack side, for sure, I think Teo's better. Hey, Sonya. Anti-eco for people B-side. It's a very strange anti-eco. Very strange anti-eco. Again, you see the proactivity into B main. Like, this is, I'll be honest, like, I think that Fnatic have been the best team in the world at this for a while. Like, there's very few teams who actually are proactive on this side of the map in a way that makes sense anyway. Full retake A. I mean, I wish there was a bit more pressure from Fnatic here, but they picked the better side to play this kind of style on. I mean, Fnatic's comp doesn't have the best anchor agents, right? Like, they've got a Viper at middle, and then an Astra, like, to help with anchoring, but they don't have, like, a traditional Sentinel or Omen. How do you get info towards A as a solo Teo? You just use your drone.
Quite correct. Very close actually to taking down Boaster. It's damage, it's not bad, but Fnatic still convert. Yeah, I think Vitality get the best of both worlds here with being able to push.
You gotta think sometimes, like, you don't need like against a Viper, the information is okay. But if you think about it, like, sometimes you're gonna Prowler and it's gonna hit someone. Like, what does that change? You now know someone's there, but like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, just because you know someone's there doesn't, like, it's still annoying, you know what I mean?
Not going to be winning them, but well-placed utility and a good gamble early rounds resulted in a dent to the Fnatic.
Like, if you get full disrespected, like, yeah, I don't know how to explain it. It's having the information is good, but at a certain point you're gonna need to shut it down, I guess is what I'm saying. If you keep using the Prowlers and they just keep breaking them or like disrespecting you.
Saw Alfier a little bit early on and he said he's definitely ready to play, ready to go, and I think he's gonna want to beat his old team. He said he's definitely ready to play, ready to go, and I saw Alfier. I'm excited for this one.
Teos have a, so Vitality are very interested in the ramp part of this map. They're very interested in the ramp part of this map. I'm curious as to whether this is a game plan against what they thought was a Cypher camera up on the ramp to stop Cypher camera, but I'm not really sure about this game plan if it's not against a Cypher. I think that A ramp is probably the last place I want to start my default on this map. That's my gut telling me that. So we've used first Psycho Salvos to clear ramp. I mean, inserting Durka is not the worst idea. I mean, this is kind of a cute idea. We can take the ramp control, get Durka out, and then leave a lurk. Just kind of a cute idea. Obviously, the problem with this idea is that you lose control of the early priority over middle, which is fine as long as you don't die. And Safe has died. I mean, he's been kind of fucking owned, to be honest with you.
It's his teammate of Kayak already getting that early aggression onto Safe. Bear in mind, of course, that there are still a few vulnerabilities here for the side of Fnatic, but a Vic.
Bro, Alex, I can't answer questions that dense without I need to watch this VOD. Otherwise we'll derail. You can leave it in Discord. It needs to be specific to this game. So where's the rotation? So we keep rotating towards A side of the map. To me, I would probably want to do it the other way around, where we leave the TP this side of the map, and then we're this side of the map, with like 3 this side of the map, I guess. But I guess that because there's a lot of pressure on the ramp right now, we're coming to want to clear the ramp, which I guess makes sense. So I think that makes sense. Like, we can see proactivity again. Look, they're going to group up. Hopefully we get a Prowler through and actually clear this ramp out. Why on earth is Alpha leaving? Like, we need to clear the ramp out. Why? Okay, luckily Kayak gets the kill anyway and TP's across. I will say that I did notice that Chronicle was dying a few times at middle. I think I saw like deaths in like all 4 of these spots in this game. So this is something that Kron needs to kind of like, the coaches just need to figure out with Kron, like how he wants to kind of play the angles. Because the angles are kind of awkward on middle, but as long as you don't give away a clean kill, like you're doing a good job. I do think that Zellsis is one of the better mid Vipers. The problem is that Zellsis is very rarely in a situation where his team is playing like 3 here and he's like having to hold like a weird angle. Like it's usually he's got like Zekon or someone stood here and he stood here and he's just playing crazy. But maybe I'm wrong. Like I don't know what he does after. Like maybe it would be worth watching Zellsis to see what his like fallback positions and angles are to not get cleanly killed. Because this spot is one of the spots where I was like, I would tell the boys that we need info here a lot, but they'd be like, I don't want to stand there because I just die. I'm like, I mean, sure, but just jiggle it or something and take some damage. It's the same kind of up here, where it's like not the nicest angle to get info from, but you kind of got to do it sometimes. Going into vents is fine, but Zellsis wouldn't go into vents in this situation where his team was 1-3. He would absolutely, like any self-respecting Viper player is going to move up to here to make sure that this side of the map has some players on.
Very much moving towards the position that Fnatic want them to, right into the waiting hands of
yeah, again, like he does play against behind the box a lot, but he's not going to play behind the box when there's 3 people there. If he does, then he's probably figured out something that I don't know, and has, you know.
So far, Boaster as well, even just said it seconds ago.
So Crashes is taking the gamble. So this is some awkward decision making here, where it's like Crashes wants to shut down this, but the Fnatic are a little bit worried of this still. But Crashes is basically, by Crashes playing here, he's basically telling Alpha like, look, like don't even worry about this anymore. Like if they come up here, it's fine. I'm just gonna risk everything to just play close. So Alpha can technically just chill and like be ready to support B. We probably should be B-side right now if they're going to take this gamble.
Will be the point of contention.
30 seconds left.
Have it cleared, and eyes are focused on Kayak. Doors open for
Is there anything that...
now. Viper wall and some A control as a
So one thing from Vitality I'm going to question early is like their lack of use of this space here. And I'm going to see for the rest of this game if this is the problem. Because they haven't... Fnatic aren't respecting like these threats right now. Because, you know, like we had a Yoru here and Astra here. So there's like no information here at all. So I wonder if Vitality mess up by not using these parts or something. Like it could be a game plan thing where Fnatic just know that they're never going to use the splits as much and then don't need to worry about it. Because like right here, they could just scale up Mel and like they would like a B split right here beats Fnatic. Or it should beat Fnatic. And then Boaster, where's his stars, man? He has no stars left. 1 star. Like usually you'll see like Cryo would do 1 star here, 1 star here. And it's very strong. I think Boaster does this later on. And this is the kind of game where I'd love to highlight that like Astra can be phenomenal site holder. It's that people seem to think that Paranoia is like better sometimes than like it is. I'd rather be able to instantly smoke myself off like twice like in this situation than Paranoia, to be honest. In a lot of spots.
30 seconds left.
Have it cleared, and eyes are focused on Kayak. Doors open for Boaster. He welcomes himself in. Let's talk X-Factor
At this one, and both the X and for Fnatic. The question I have though is that are some of the heroes for either side still going to have the same level?
It's another eco round. Not much to say. This time Fnatic again.
The question I have though is that
Stronger mid and ace ups.
have the same level. Crashies had an insane game last week to help coming out with the debut of the season, or definitely debut of the season, maybe debut of ever in the NBA.
Yeah, well, I mean, coming into this week, well, coming into today, he's the leader in terms of ACS. He was second last week after all the games were played. Second to Zeus, who,
Yeah,
he was all right in the first week, so that's not bad.
Even there again, like Jake pushing B main. He's gonna get orb probably.
Second to
Nope.
Zeus,
Why didn't he get the orb? Oh, he's got ult already.
who
Just pushing out. It's just good.
excited to see these battles going on.
Good play.
Coach cautious supporting the Irish. I've seen Milan.
Okay, right. This is the map though. This is the
I
round.
think he's been up all night prepping for this game, so obviously the same can be said.
Boaster's doing the one way, but that shit does not work. Let's have a look.
Vitality be
I'll load up the server.
to look at, and they're coming in with the exact
I'll load up. Because I'm pretty sure this looks good to me. Like it's very awkward for attack, I think. Like he wouldn't do this unless he had a very good reason to do it, you know what I mean? So we can have a look what his specific setups are. So now it's like Fnatic have got a read now that it's like, well, the A stuff is being shut down a little bit. There's not really been too much of a threat towards middle. And so now I wonder if Fnatic here are playing the Yoru towards B because they think they're going to go B default, or Vitality have shown like a breach ult towards B and they want to get a pick this time, or it's just random. I don't know. One sec. Any scrim leakers? Scrim leakers. If we see that on the scrim leaks thing, we know where we found it. God almighty, it's loud. Oh shit! Shit, one sec. Sorry, I thought I'd burnt the house down. It was fine. It was fine. It's fine. Not even. It was probably perfect timing actually.
Same idea.
So yeah, so breach out, maybe they do breach out ideas, so like Yoru's playing here to get the pick specifically. I'm not sure what would inform this pick, but Durka liked this pick. It's a good pick. What we're making shakshuka.
But this place no get flavor. No gold. Where's the size? The bling blings. Come on. My ult's ready.
I think it's just what he likes to do every round.
Good. Same idea.
Recovering it. Blocking vision.
Maybe it's on. Fucking.
Got to target obscuring vision.
Yeah, he just has the gap in it, right? It's just the gap. I mean, it's good info. Like you can't go through without being seen. Like even if you jump, you're going to be seen. So
4-0 start. As you said, it's been good attack sides, and so for Vitality, they know that maybe the worst
I think I'm going to start to question the use of middle for Vitality soon if
is yet
we
to
don't
come.
see them brute
Start
force.
putting rounds up on the board, and this is where you do it. Rolling Thunder online alongside Safe.
Like, look how much this smoke has. Look how much they have to respect this smoke. This is one of the problems with this comp, I guess. Where it's like, you could throw a smoke down the bottom of middle. But to be honest with you,
Rounds up on the
if they heard this Viper Orb up, like why would they have Viper Orb up if they're stood here, you know? So like Vitality are wasting time.
board, and this is where
Like
you
obviously with the Fade we could just
Rolling
prowler through
Thunder
and then
online
just have a look.
alongside Safe, although he doesn't have his ult, he's still got those. Rolling Thunder online alongside Safe.
1 minute 20, I guess it's fine.
Still got those salvos and will incrementally through the rounds.
Look how passive they're droning from.
Don't think we used
This
them
mid take
early
isn't
on.
very good.
They would be online had they have been used, as you've seen just
Yeah,
the
that
Vitality spreading
they're wasting a lot of
across
time. Okay, so I think we're probably gonna see it on Fnatic's attack too, but like we're wasting a lot of time. Where's my Valor plan? I guess I could just do it here. Wasting a lot of time. So like where's the first cycle salvos being used?
The same could be said for the other side, Vitality, but you have given them the data to look at, and they're coming in with the exact tag size.
We didn't use first cycle. We didn't. Fuck me, man. Okay. We need to just get out middle quicker and then be ready to threaten as soon as possible the breach stun from like here or from here. And just get out. Make this as soon as like make this orb like a lot of middle is like baiting this orb usage, and then when it like goes down, then you smoke up and go. And like use your stun, use your fucking drone and shit. But look at the way that Vitality do it. Like they don't use their first cycle at all for anything. They wait for the smoke. Like they're so scared of the smoke, it's unreal. They could just flash out of the smoke and just go. And then when this orb is down, now they should be going right now. They should be up in Kron's face right now. But instead they smoke. Now they drone. And by the time they do, the smoke's back up. They've used like this is the other pet peeve of mine, is what is the point of using a drone, especially when you have one drone, if we're not going to use it for anything? Like, all we've done is just make the Viper put up the orb, and we've not actually taken any space. Like, this would be like a VOD review round if I'm Vitality, and be like, well, we got one drone, guys. Like, and we've used it, like again, this isn't specific to Safe or anything, like, it's not like Safe's fault individually, but like, as a team, they're not connected with what they're trying to do here, in my opinion. I also don't understand why Kix is not ready to do one of the stuns. Again, not individual stuff, this is like team-wide stuff. Like, how, like, we should be ready to punish Viper. I don't really understand what we're doing.
They have been used, as you've seen, just a default Vitality spreading across the map.
Maybe this is just one of those things where, like,
Spotted that a couple
and
times
again, the proactivity on B main from Fnatic, like,
early on.
as soon as there's pressure middle,
That they have been used, as you've
like, this is the kind of thing where, like, I would start be game planning around against Fnatic about, like, how much they love doing the B main stuff. But it's really nice.
the default Vitality spreading across the map, waiting for aggression.
Yeah, the mid stuff, like, I spent a lot of time with Boaster trying to figure out taking middle, and that's okay, and, like, how we take middle and attack middle. And so it's just so ingrained in my head, all the little protocols and stuff.
Spotted that a couple
And I think
times
they've
now.
just wasted a lot of time.
Who's come in once
Like, if right now Fnatic did actually have one, like, the normal kind of setup, or even maybe two, like, Vitality would just insta lose the round, I think.
space elsewhere, smoke goes up in mid, and that prompts a B push, but not ready.
They should swap Teo for Sky and they could do this. No. No. What would, like, I don't know if you're baiting me. What would you prefer? Like, the ability to do, like something like this? Or a Skydog? Like, to me, I'd rather be able to do this. Like, like, you could even argue that, like, something deeper if you haven't baited out the Viper Orb properly, but if you've baited out the Viper Orb, then I would just, like, smoke here, potentially use one here, and then just use it to clear out the vents properly, you know? Fade for breach is better now. Again, I'm going to keep explaining stuff, and you guys can keep up. Like, if you got specific questions as to why you might think something better, you can, but I've already explained my in earlier about Fade versus breach and, you know, that stuff. Teo versus Fade or whatever.
Be direct pressure, flash through.
With Astra, it's harder to cycle those mid smokes because the stars. That's true. So it is harder to go through middle because, you know, there might be a star. I can't actually get to the star, but imagine this is a star. Like, they can easily cycle it a bit better. But that just requires even more, you know, tightness in your attack approach on the middle of the map, right? And right now we're seeing an approach where we're droning from back here. This is a terrible ability indication. We're droning from here, letting the Viper Orb go up. Fnatic aren't even needing to cycle their smokes particularly well. Or Yuto.
Darker timing. Almost works out for him. But either way, it has forced them.
But it is what Safe wanted. Yeah. Like, you're misunderstanding me. Teo has way more tools to deal with middle than Sky. And I've just explained it.
Back. An important entry, though.
Also, the dog isn't as good as the Teo drone, so it's like, you're basically, yeah.
Is still there. Kayak is waiting, not gonna fall out for him. Sivo was lurking there a lot. I think that might just be direct pressure. Flash through.
So Vitality are using this space now to do a little bit of prodding here, and they're going to end up going this way. The problem is they've lost B main. Like, to me, this is not amazing calling, because it feels a bit weird that we've lost control of B main. We have A main with the Cypher. So, like, to me, it's more natural here to go this way. Maybe Safe trying to play a bit of 3D chess, whereas, like, 4D chess, whereas, like, you know, knowing Fnatic probably expects this now with the pressure. That, like, they probably rotate, but that feels a little bit, I don't know.
works
A little bit
out.
overkill potentially.
But either way, it has forced them back.
And luckily they get the kill on Chron again. So Chron's, you know, made another. That noise is so annoying. Thank you, Anima. Thank you, Anima. I need to turn that noise off, but I appreciate it. Chron is again, yeah, made a bit of a mistake dying. A bit too easy.
But either way, it has forced them back. An important
Like in this situation,
Once they take space elsewhere,
I don't really know what Chron's doing.
and that prompts a B push, but not ready for it to pack quite that much.
We're gonna highlight Chron here.
Vitality, they're already a man behind.
look back to that GX
So I think what happens is that because there's pressure up the vents, you know, you're gonna see Boaster rotating this way, and Chron probably feels like he needs to like do something. But I think his job here is to literally, like, if Boaster goes this way and Chron literally played here right now, or here, he's fine. Or just played here with the intention of falling off. But instead he gets kind of caught in the middle of nothing.
Sivo was lurking there a lot. I think that might just be direct pressure. Flash through. Alfiera is
Yeah, I think he's making a mistake here. Like he is like Boaster's now the rotator. He can stay here. I think he's making a little bit of a mistake. Until this is more committed from Vitality, he should just stay still and be.
The darker timing almost works out for him. But either way, it has forced them back. An important
But
entry.
it's not egregious, to be honest with you. It really does feel like an A to some degree, so.
Kayak is waiting, not gonna fall for it, and then gets the easy shot. Now has his dimensional drift, and Alfie
It's nice for Alpha. That's unlucky from Alpha.
connects one while still on the ropes, but they know
And again, look at this, like every single time. How many teams in the world actually fucking do the push outs here? Like, I've never really even thought about it in this map too much, but
exactly where he is.
it's just
An easy
good.
pick-off for Boaster, and now left onto less. 20 seconds, and Kayak just is not missing a beat. What a start this guy is having, Mitch.
Okay, NW. Okay, let me explain. Okay, because I'm not. I don't want to like make you feel like okay. If we sky flash here and it pops, what does it tell us? It tells us that Viper's here. So maybe in your world we could, you know, then trigger the stun. Maybe that's a fine use case of Sky. But I think there's too many situations where the Sky this kind of pops, and it's just like not good info, I guess. Like to me, I would rather just use, you know, if we really need to brute force through a drone, you know, it's the same, and then we have, you know, again, a much bigger, like, would you rather a Sky Flash or Salvos here? Because I think I know the answer. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I'd much rather the Salvos here, you know? So, like, the Sky Flash is an okay-ish idea, but ultimately, what do you do if, like, the Viper's being sneaky and, like, moving around and shit? Like, I don't think this guy's going to provide as much value. Like, Safe here isn't trying to find info whether the Viper's here or something. Like, the job of this drone, in my opinion, and maybe this is what maybe you're right and he was just trying to get info, but that's wrong. He should be using it to let someone scale with it so that they can get through the space. You know what I mean? Because we need to get through this Viper orb. You know, if we're just using this to find info, we're like, hey guys, yeah, the Viper's in vents. Nice, who cares? Like, we need to use it to actually scale the space. We're using it as an entry tool. It's not an info tool here, it's an entry tool.
I think we have had some lack of expectations from Kayak, like whether he can match up to the likes of Durka. He's doing all right.
Yeah, I mean,
If he wants to poke for info, Sky has more tools. Sure. But
that's exactly what we were touching on as well. Mid, because Vite's indeed aggression, that is confident.
Like a good time he did learning stuff himself. I wonder if we're going to see something slightly more direct, because as you said, adaptations being made from Fnatic on the fly. All the way you can take that away.
So far, my notes would be like round 3, 4v5 insta is like the problem, and then round 5 mid poor mid take. Is that fair? I think from Vitality's side.
this surprise factor.
Hey, Kyra, thank you very much.
Salvo's lined up. TP and Maccabee will come in just after
It's
Salvo.
just an eco, so I'm not really too bothered with this round.
In fact, Dirk is going to tank a little bit of it for the Salvo's line.
We switched the Fade to B this round instead of A. Is there a good reason for Fade to be B here? I guess, like, you could argue that because Fnatic have done a lot of dry, like, reclears over here, switching the Fade over now means that they can continue to get information around B main. Which is fair, I guess. Like, at a certain point, if you get info here now and there's just someone stood here, you don't, like, it's gonna be, like, attack can kind of play around that a bit more, you know? They can start, like, just disrespecting the Fade Prowlers on the A side of the map, maybe. And on the B side of the map, it's gonna be harder now for Fnatic to actually do the reclears, because they, like, Vitality should be ready by now.
Take that away from them, this surprise factor.
Salvo's lined up. TP and Maccabee will come in just after Salvo's have fully popped. Or just before, in fact. Dirk is going to tank a little bit of it for the element of surprise. Hasn't been able to catch anyone off guard, but this is a great round to take those risks in when you've got those weaker weapons. Armageddon calls it goes. Alpha can't get out. He has to fight them here and now. And at least
There's one weakness of the Fnatic comp, though, is that, like, if you think about, like, what I was saying before, about the lack of anchor, like, Fade isn't a particularly great anchor on this site. Raze isn't a good anchor, Yoru isn't a good anchor. Viper is a good anchor, but has to play middle. And then Astra is, like, okay anchoring. So you're in a position where, like, somewhere on the map doesn't have, like, a great anchor. And, like, this is one of those rounds where, like, you can see that, like, you know, like, the Fade ain't gonna stand here like a Cypher or an Omen and just rail people, you know. So that's, like, one of the potential weaknesses of this comp, I guess, is the, like, actual site hold sometimes.
before, in fact.
But Fnatic are well aware of that. Like, they're not stupid.
Hasn't been able to catch anyone off guard, but this is a great round to take those risks in when you've got those weaker weapons.
I was bullying you the whole time.
Get out. He has to fight them here and now.
Doesn't sound like me.
It's only a gun you get to call this.
You're looking moments, put around on the board, and it ends up missing out
And
on
then
Zerka.
the Euro strat.
Vitality, they put
I'm gonna presume that this might have been some kind of anti.
board, and
Like, playing 3 middle, because now, like, we could just go follow and flood at heaven.
the reason I was so worried is I thought it would be 6-0.
And that, look at that reaction from Crashes right there.
Vitality, they put around on the board, and
Like, it's too obvious. Like, look,
the reason I was so worried is I
Prowler,
thought it
nothing's
would be
middle. Like, we're
6-0
chill.
with a buy round, putting them on a knife's edge of how this game was going to go, but instead they put a
Less is gonna be the second layer, though. Why are we not... Why are they not doing anything, though? I thought they would flood here. Be ready to flood.
That's the odd. Has to be just
Yeah. I think Fnatic could have played that better.
basically succeeded.
They could have flooded on a good timing.
To deny any chance at a plant.
Oh god, Alpha's not checked the right.
That showstopper, but it actually hasn't got the
Oh,
kill.
he
Player
TP in
both
the mid.
sides of this fight still survived. Safe has just popped off as well.
This is an easy note for Fnatic. I think as an anti strat to this Euro ult, what they did at the start was lovely, but they just needed to speed up the flood on B. Like,
the reason I was so worried is I thought it would be 6-0 with a buy round.
like Alpha could maybe. I think like Chronicle stays here, just watching the mid lurk. They raise up, fade up back.
Edge of how this game was going to go, but instead they put a very early round up in that weak buy.
Has to be just
Like right now, like they should go. You know,
they set him up. Basically, the plant backside with the
it's a little bit late from
Just
that.
the corner for kicks. Would even make this fight. Chronicle has to clutch up. He's already got himself a triple. To the early.
they have up of that have to. I don't know of their options.
He had the other. But we don't know the beast.
Not it. I choose
My thing is,
Yeah, Chrome did get wrecked a little bit. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Stakes by round.
The show sanely, but the response from Vitality, well, you always felt like at some point they would find it.
So they lost a round on B, and now Fnatic are just gambling. I quite like this. This is like if you think about how little how little dynamism they showed against BBL on the defense, like doing like the EDG's thing, sorry, of like just stacking sometimes. I approve. The only thing I will note though is that we got a Viper ult, we're not using it, so I don't really understand why don't we just use the Viper ult. But
Not struggling just yet. This next round loss.
if you were still a coach, who would you have picked up in place of Dirk?
Spot, and you can see
I
again,
mean,
Durka trying to
if Fnatic thought Kayak was the best option, I'm gonna presume Kayak was the best option. If from the outside looking in, like I am a big fan of Zeus, but I don't know anything about him as a player. So like, it's not to say he's better than Kayak or anything. It's just that like that was the player that was on my radar the most for the off season, I think.
Vitality have to find another idea.
It seems they're already pretty set on where this one's going.
In this gamble, who'd you rather have on A, Astra or Fade? Fade. You keep the Fade A to keep the same conditioning. Like, Crashies is still gonna get the info towards A, and then if they do put the cage up, then he can get the info back, you know? If Boaster was playing A, he'd have to play like here, and he'd not know what's going on, because they just cage up and run past.
Thing is, though, Fnatic are not struggling
You will get an analysis on Haven, yes, but I don't think I'll get there. I'm gonna go watch some football with my mates at a certain point. Again, that proactivity on B again. Like, even though they don't win the like, they go 1 for 1, I think doing this damage and then just being this comp on defense and getting this information is all, like, to me, I'd say that this is Fnatic, like, doing fine, you know what I mean? If I'm Kron right here, I'm genuinely thinking about coming here to ult. Arsenal fan? No, I'm not a fan of any team.
It seems they're already pretty set on where this one's going. Wrap all the way around to the A site. They'll challenge that, feeling like the choke point's maybe a bit weaker. That Kayak floating around to potentially be holding that long range with the op. Vitality.
So yeah, I mean, I remember seeing this. They get info back on Heaven, but what does it really tell us? Not a lot. They're commenting a lot about this right now. You could see like Alpha was watching these spots. This is one thing where I think that Fnatic could maybe look at is like the way they use the Fade for info around this timing when the map they've lost like middle. I don't think this is bad, but I think that like there's maybe there's better ways to do it. Like that was very good. But now look at him, he's just used every single piece of util. I think Crashies needed to play this slightly differently. Like he's now anchoring on site as a Counter-Strike player and not as a Valorant agent.
A lot of space taken by Vitality already. That's side. Play that late. Now I did think they were Vitality. The big idea is to have less. Play that late. Now I did think they would go through mid with him, but he goes back for the ultimate outside B, signaling that they've still got presence there, but the Prowler from Crashies grabs info. That's going to stop the over-rotation from Alphayer. He's still going to be here.
It's like this now, like this situation right here. I think if I was Fnatic coach, I'd screenshot like right now, and like we'd look at this round. Like, how do we problem solve this? I don't have the solution here, but like it doesn't feel comfortable at all what's happening right now. Like, Les comes up and kills Kron. Technically, Kron should be here, I guess. But it's not, again, it's not like a massive thing. even like it just feels awkward. Like this feels disconnected. If they come B split, it doesn't feel good. Like, nothing feels good right now, you know what I mean? Like no, whatever Vitality do here probably feels okay for them, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's almost like they're not strong siding anything. But I don't know what they're supposed to do. Like I don't have a quick answer. Like this is hard for me to actually think about.
Vitality have to find another idea.
It seems they're already pretty set on what
I mean, the simple answer would have been for Kron to go ult something. And then it's easy to solve after that. But
this one's going.
let's pretend he doesn't have ult.
Wrap all the way around to the A site. They'll challenge that, feeling like the choke point's maybe a bit weaker. That kind.
I wouldn't hate, because there's a minute left, I wouldn't have hated Crashies joining Alpha and then re-clearing Heaven together. And then we, you know, if we do lose middle, we have control of vents, a bit of control of the ramp. That situation, we're not going to hold the site as easy though. So like, we are kind of gifting them the site to a degree.
Floating around to potentially be holding that long range with the AWP.
But it also then gives us the option to go through vents if that happens. I think that's what I think that would be my idea here, but I'm not sure.
Vitality. Big idea was to have less. Play that late. Now I did think they would go through mid with him, but he goes back for the ultimate outside B, signaling that they've still got presence there, but the Prowler from Crashies grabs info. That's gonna stop the over-rotation from Alphayer. He's still gonna be here for the push onto the side.
There has always been this thing with Viper ults on defense sometimes where players don't like playing with Viper ult on defense. So I'm gonna say that might be part of this.
Push is coming in through Heaven.
But I think in this situation, like, you can just see.
Less's lurks have just been so good, and it comes back to Alpha, same position.
Yeah, Alpha fucked this up. He should be shooting right now.
Lurks have just been so good, and it comes back to Alpha.
He should shoot right now. Like, there's no reason not to shoot right now. He gets 2 if he shoots right now.
As before,
Like, now he doesn't get a kill. Like,
and they're not gonna clear
I mean,
it.
yeah.
That's 2 for
Like,
same
he gets 2.
Lurks have just been so good.
He get 2 now. Now he'll get 1 now, you know? Like, he's getting 1. If he's really sick in the moment, he'll get 2, but like, now it's like, it's just hard. It's just hard. It's not greed, I think it's just being a bit stupid. It's not greed. Like, you just shoot right here. Like, the longer you wait, like, the harder the shot is, and then they're also spreading a little bit, I mean, like, the more time Alpha has to think, the worse, like, he should just know to shoot there. Oh wait, was this a good coach cam? No, not amazing. We're looking out for good coach cams.
That was phenomenal stuff.
Again, not ulting. Is it because they're that afraid of like that? I don't know. They need to ult.
Alphayer from Duck. No, it was phenomenal from Alphayer. It was one of my favorite plays he's made.
Why are we not
Not so much
Viper
his.
ulting?
In that replay, I think we got to see it.
Still have a buy here. Now it's definitely
And who am I supposed to flame?
out of Fnatic. You got to judge potential for a Viper.
Who am I supposed to flame for not Viper ulting?
Down on a Guardian and
Because that is bad.
Week's performance. It's a really big part.
I think Mitch and Tom might have been alluding to it in this game.
Haven't seen the same success just yet, but it is early days. But well, the early days of this map was a 5-0 start for Fnatic, and now it's starting to slip.
The great thing is, like, Les is so strong in his lurk game that even though they just faked A,
Let's look at Vitality here again. Let's look at the default.
I think you can tell which team people are
So they're ready to do this done. Oh, just why they? What is this? Why is Kick stunning? What's he gonna do? What does that do? Like, great that Viper stun and vents, guys. Viper stun vents? Yeah, but we're 20 meters away from him, and we got a fucking Viper orb up, and we don't have a raise to satchel on him. Like, what is this? Is this misclick? If I was to do like a bait video around it now, it'd be like, what would the title be? It'd be something about Vitality not understanding how to take middle. They should try Bowstorm Viper for split and Chron and Astra. No, they shouldn't. No, they shouldn't. They should just coach Chron into not dying. And Chron's more than good enough to not die. VCT teams don't understand middle on split. VCT teams suck at... I don't know, what's the clickbait title here? Because it's every split game at this point, I feel like. Teams suck at middle on attack. Like, on broadcast, I'm sometimes trying to explain it in cast a little bit, that, like, they are just fucking it up. But in the middle of the cast, they can't just... They've got the name of the map. I mean, you don't actually need middle, you just need to push defense away at least. VCT teams can't play split. Pro teams suck on split. There we go, we're here. This idiocy is why I retired from coaching. It is honestly why Fnatic run down the time a lot on their attack, is because I think it's because of this middle. I wasn't really paying attention, I was trying to prep my own cast during the fucking game. I should just sit down and record videos at some point, right? Like, this is it's too easy for me to explain, and it's too, like, valuable content. Like, this is, like, it would actually be useful. The only thing is, I don't know how good the video will be, because, like, I'm not going to edit it or anything. I'll probably just one-shot it.
Not so much his. In that replay, I think we got to see it.
Still have a buy hit. Now, it's definitely not the best out of Fnatic. You got a judge.
So attacking teams are mid at taking mid. It helped me edit the videos. I appreciate it.
Really big part of them being able to win.
Vitality, mate. What?
Well, the early days of this map was a 5-0 start for Fnatic. Now it's
What have we achieved?
The great thing is, like, Les is so strong in his lurk game.
We're using our second Psycho Salvos to default middle at 45 seconds is a very bad sign.
That even though they just faked A, there's 3 players here. I don't worry for a second.
Both Vitality and Fnatic made a lot of mistakes on split attack. Yeah, Fnatic aren't going to get off easy here, I don't think, because I think they were terrible in attack from what I remember. But I'm getting annoyed. These are supposed to be, like, the best teams in Europe, kind of vibe, you know what I mean? Like, these are supposed to be good teams, but we're fucking up some of the basics. Again, I don't really understand Fnatic here as well. Like, why is Crashy's used everything? Oh, he only has one Prowler here. Okay, the money's in the bin. You know what you should do if the money's in the bin and you lack information in the middle of the round? The answer is Viper ult. Like, why? We can clean up this macro. Look how we could clean this macro up right now. Like, this is what we could do. Is KO acceptable on Fracture? KO is acceptable nowhere, apart from a Sun. If Chron just ults right here, they can just put, like, 3 people B and then just have one idiot watching the ropes. You know what I mean? Just 3 here, 1 person watching ropes. I'm a bit confused. I'm a bit confused what Fnatic are doing.
To end there, but to pull as much
It
as
said they just
possible
stick 3 people A.
sight. Now they shift to the left. The whole body does.
I guess they're not sure about what's happening on the ramp, but I guess if I'm Kron, I run to here, I use my ult, and then Alpha goes this way. Like, I don't know.
Lurk through heaven. It's being
Or he probably should be actually here right now. Like I think we need to be stronger this side of the map at the moment.
flawless so far.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused by what Fnatic are doing.
Gatecrash going through the back.
They don't have information for A, but to gamble A here feels odd. And then we have a Viper ult, we're not doing anything with it. I think luckily, like, this shit happens where Boaster does the cryo cells, like, kind of setup, where he just smokes himself off, and then Kix is just running into a smoke by himself for some reason.
Oh, and in fact, that gives an opportunity. That's the spike.
And then, like, look at this, like, he can just play around it,
Bear that in mind. Not a lot of time left for Vitality.
which is it's nice, it's nice. And Kayak just farms, so
And
it's good hold from the boys, but. And then rank 10 is when we, for some reason, use the Viper ult.
Definitely having a
What?
strong individual
What's going on, Kron?
performance.
Ooh!
Okay, Doug has just been dove. Crashies decides to play ahead of the curve a little bit, and a strong individual performance. Okay, Doug.
Yeah, I don't really understand why we've decided to not Viper ult for the last 4 rounds, but
Well,
it is what it is.
You've seen Durka play for that ramp position so
No
well.
comment.
Just get
Okay.
up there and then retreat, teleport somewhere else on the map. This time he's punished.
Yeah, I don't know what Kron's doing.
risk of the walk up through heaven, but Boaster's just come in to fill that gap, so no real problems there for Fnatic. 3 players committed though to this half of the map, and it sort of has to be. Puts a bit more pressure perhaps on Alphier. Crashies lined up. Engaged across. They lose heaven control, they can't hold it together. Have to instead split their gaze.
That sees nade. I feel like it looks good and feels good, and it's like good that they want to do it, but it doesn't work. Like, I don't know. I've watched this kind of sees nade happen probably 1,000 times, and I don't think I've ever seen a kill from it.
Gaze in both directions. Nade, yeah, not quite gonna land on the players.
Like, I remember Alpha and Enzo wanting to do it a lot when Fade first came out, and I don't think I saw them get a single kill.
Behind it, but a look at the rotations from Fnatic now. There's about a whole squad's essentially here.
Like, you could obviously Alpha has just yoinked his nade out and thrown it like a noob, but like, I think even if you min-maxed it, like, I think that sometimes it just doesn't really work.
Solid.
I think, like, right now is when you want to, like, have that util ready or something.
Force them back off the angle. Have the potential for some isolated duels. Les is looking for that gap once again. Alfia was forced forward.
I think nades on the ramp are actually... I didn't realize. I think the nades around the ramp are actually surprisingly good up here. I think with my rule with the Enzo and Alpha became, like, don't try to seize nade. Like, use those... Just use the util when it makes sense for you individually. And if it happens to be a seize nade at the same time, great.
Still don't seem aware.
And I think it was better than trying to seize nade.
20 seconds up and coming on the clock. No ground. No from the shadows. And honestly, it looks like no hope. I think this has to be a save now.
Yeah, they've made that call as well.
Wouldn't it be better if they're about to exec? They thought they were about to exec.
Well, if he's not safe,
There isn't a better timing, really. They could have done what they did on, if you know what I mean. Like, they couldn't
got confidence.
time it better than that, really.
13 and 5, had
For,
a
like,
great
that
game so
kind
far.
of season nade.
Team round fade alongside a raise. Not a whole lot of delay. The amount of time they bought for rotations there was sublime. Like, the season aid may not have got a kill, but did that early work. Kayak, aggressive position. Much more so than before, and we see the same spread net set out by Vitality. Trying to watch for aggression, but also trying to find a gap.
Yeah, I don't think Vitality have, like, really sussed that middle. Like they've used Salvos and Stun and a TP, and they haven't taken middle again.
A little bit less so now, leaving the A site a little bit more open. They still have a cam and a trap,
Going for
but
it.
it's the fact they're not waiting for that.
This is the kind of discussion I'd like to try and make this a broader point. you know? Like, when people talk about comps and, like, what comps for agents are good, like, there's times where I think that, like, there are some agents, like, I would argue Deadlock, where, like, it looks better when teams are doing stuff like this, where they're not actually countering the thing, right? So, like, I think Viper's a very good agent, don't get me wrong. Like, Viper's very strong. But let's say that Viper only had this orb or something. That was, like, her only piece of util, and she had nothing else. You'd probably watch this VOD and say, Viper's still pretty strong. Because, like, the team isn't able to go through it. But I think if you just used, like, if you watch a team who actually knew how to go through this orb, you'd very quickly be like, well, Viper's only got the orb. Like, how's that good? You can just go through this, like, fairly easily. And, like, that's the problem right now, is that, like, they don't know how to go through this orb, it looks like. And the broader perspective is, like, there are agents on maps, like earlier, like, someone posted this about the fucking, this about Killjoy, right? Like, I think Killjoy right now, its win rate's probably okay on Haven. And, like, someone's like, oh, yeah, look at this, like, setup that, Meteor's doing. I see this, and I'm like, okay, well, they lose to me. Like, they just lose to me. This turret does not beat my team. Like, it just gets shot through the door immediately. And, like, but they will get away with this against 90% of the teams, probably. Like, that's the problem with Valorant when I'm watching it as an outsider now, is that the shit I'm watching, I'm just like, if they play it against my team, they lose, but 90% of teams aren't even doing basic shit to beat the things that are happening. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're in 2025 and we're not going through the orb correctly. Like, I'm not gonna say that this is as easy as killing that turret. Like, this isn't as easy to solve. But it needs to look better than this, doesn't it? I think.
Looking for a little more as well. There's an opportunity for Cvov. Oster filled in the angle.
It's not about them understanding the agents and how to counter it. It's that they haven't. I don't think they've sat down and VOD reviewed this enough. Like, okay, I could be completely wrong and talking out of my ass. So, like, forgive me, Durka, or whoever, like, ends up seeing this from Vitality. But, like, the way I would explain it is that, you know, every single day on Split, we're going to be in a situation where we're playing against a Viper, and there's going to be at least 3 or 4 rounds on the map on attack where we're going to try and go through this orb on attack, right? And every single time, I'll be writing my notes down and talking about, you know, let's say 7-3, 3-7 down, you know, mid default, and I'll write down a few notes. Okay, mid take, and then I'm going to write down what I thought went right or wrong about our mid take. And then if it's really bad, I'll make sure to highlight it. I'll, like, put some asterisks, and then at the end of the day, I'm going to go through this. We're going to VOD review, and if we really need to, we'll go on the server and, like, actually try and take the Viper orb. Like, I'll go play Viper, put the orb down, try and take middle from me, and just drill it, like, every single fucking day until, like, we're good at it. But it just looks like they're a little bit off sync or not drilled enough. I think being drilled is basically what I'm saying. Like, they don't seem drilled enough. I think they're all smart enough to know how Viper works and how to do it all. It's just that they don't have the set plays to deal with it, or the protocols to deal with it or something. Or, like, they haven't gone through it properly enough. I don't know. I could be wrong. They could have just come to the official and just, like, bottled it or something. But to me, it looks like they just don't have the, like, well practiced. They're not practiced enough at dealing with this, if that makes sense. Safe mentioned communication barriers. This doesn't look like communication barriers to me. This has nothing to do with communication barriers. The people in this pack that don't have communication problems. Les is over here, who is probably the main suspect there. Cvov is here, who might, I don't know what his English is like. I know these 3 well enough to know that, like, they're going to be able to take middle effectively. Most of the time, this isn't comms things either. It's as simple as Viper orb down, Durka will call, and then they got to do their thing, the set thing that they know how to do without talking about it, you know? So I'm a little bit curious as to how, like, that stuff. Like, they haven't shown me, like, a round yet where they're, like, convincingly take middle from Chronicle, who is mostly alone at middle. Like if you're unable to take middle with this comp, like you almost couldn't design a comp like better for taking mid. Like this maybe you want an Astra here, but I think these three in particular, maybe you argue Raze is better slightly, but like this is, you know, this is prime mid take territory to me.
Operator retreat, paranoid. Is gone. Boaster predicted where his opponent was coming from,
and again, you know, you could still do the perfect thing and it not work, but it looks like they're not even like they haven't shown me in this match yet that they can do like the perfect ticks, you know. Have you done any videos on Sen Split last year? I've done no videos at all. Sen Split was generally good. Good rotations, good protocols. Zelsus being able to hold mid as well as he was strong. Sassy understanding the information cycles as well as he did on defense was strong. And John QT knowing how to play for Rootic when as much as he did was very strong. Like those are the takeaways from me. Like John knew when and when not to play Rootic. Sassy had very good information cycling, and Zelsus was very good at mid. Okay, so again, like this to me is a yellow card in Fnatic. Like I don't know, like maybe it looks like they're doing something more set here. But like instant drone against the Viper was a yellow card for me, because like they're gonna just orb up and then we can't go through the orb. So I'd rather go through an Astra Star. Like if it becomes an Astra Smoke, it becomes an Astra Smoke. I'd rather go through an Astra Smoke than a fucking Viper orb. I mean, Devil's Advocate is that, you know, the tail ult comes in here quite nicely. But Kron should have been able to escape. But he kind of spit himself, so. Was Vitality ever aggressive on mid? What do you mean, defense or attack?
There was no way out of there. Caught, and it's a dangerous position to play. Once that ult is online, you see exactly why here.
A good ult from Safe though.
That's the thing, yeah. Once the ult's online,
but there was an opportunity here for like there was like if Kron was just stood here at this point and didn't spit here, he would probably just walk out. And I would criticize that from Vitality, that they've not got people ready to capitalize off of this ult really. Oh look, they're just so far back.
Between the salvos and the Armageddon, there was no way out of there. Caught, and it's a dangerous position to play. Once that ult is online, you see exactly why here.
That's the thing, yeah. Once the ult's online, you either have to just gamble that you can rotate out fast enough, or just hope they leave a gap. But you also don't just want to give up that Vents control completely, because then your opponents walk up on you.
And even if they don't,
I also want to ask, if they're struggling more against a Viper, why not take the extremities more? They were, but I don't think that's good. Like they're not they're not. To me, it's not that they're struggling against this, it's that they don't know how to do it, if that makes sense. Like, if they were doing the stuff that's good and then struggling, then you could look at other options. But I feel like they're not trying to do the good stuff, you know what I mean? So it's not that they're necessarily, like, technically struggling in the way that I would describe it. They could go for some, you know, BXX. The problem is that Jake has 2 smokes and is an Astra. If you go for these XX, you're going to get Gravweld, and they got really early information from Fade. So it's like, you're almost like the second answer to this is if you can't get through this way, is that you can't, like, you'll see teams, like we had a default where you kind of send people this way and this way, and then you kind of make the Viper kind of force their hand to like get out of the vents, because otherwise they're gonna the Viper gets crunched almost. So like, if the 2 people or 3 people here get contacted, then you can like walk up middle a bit easier. If they don't get contacted, these people around these spots just wait, and then these players can like crunch vents. So that's like one cute idea, I guess, that you could try if the Viper was just a fucking savant at middle. It's kind of use that ramp pressure and then use the vents as almost like a reverse rotation tool, I guess. It's not the most clean idea, but
Repositioned slightly by Crashies. He can avoid it.
it's something we have tried with some success.
Even gets the C's down. That's going to slow them. TP to the backside. Dirk is stuck it. They know though. They've
That's
seen it
beautiful,
before.
to be honest with you. This is the kind of micro shit that, like, does... This is like EDG to me. Like, look at that.
TP to the backside.
Like, just a tiny, like, distraction.
They know though.
Like,
They've seen this before. Catch it.
it's kind of beautiful.
Reveal that would have forced the hand. Boaster on the double. Crashies can't hold on though. They're able to recover the site, but getting across with the spike is another challenge. Kayak's back up in heaven. Almost.
Can I talk more about weak, strong side theory? Ask me on Discord or something one day. I want to focus on this game more. If I start answering broader questions, I will both repeat myself a lot and be annoyed that I've just like wasted my time. Well, not wasted my time, but like, you know, I'm here to watch this VOD, you know. More specific, if you ask it in the context of this VOD, then and you're smart enough to do that, then I would probably answer you. I just hope for like now carry on this momentum. I don't think Apex are an easy opponent this week and let it get to a close game. I'll be honest with you. I think Apex should be an easy game. I don't think it should be particularly difficult.
Yeah, no, I saw a sign out in the crowd that said they may have Durka, but we've got Kayak, and honestly, in this map so far, Kayak has definitely been the better of the two.
So Kron throws
Durka, but we've got
bro, that's Pansy with blonde streaks. Didn't
Kayak.
recognize her. Yeah, so Kron's gonna throw an orb up here for middle.
Honestly, in this map so far, Kayak has definitely been the better of the two. Of course,
Viper is overrated.
very aggressive with his TPs, trying to
I don't
separate,
think so,
trying to
Jada.
push into certain spots on the
We just watched an entire half that Vitality lost because they didn't know how to go through a Viper orb at middle. So I think it's kind of hard to argue it. When do I cast again? I don't I'm not in Berlin this week, but I'll be in Berlin the week after. Let me see. So let me quickly figure this out. I think I could figure out what games I'll be on. I think I always cast later games. So I missed these three. Liquid Koi, Giant X Fnatic, Navi. So every game I cast is going to be a team that I flame sometimes. So I feel like I flamed Koi in a match, I flamed Giant X in a match, and now I flame Navi. So that'll be fun. What's this guy yapping about? I was yapping at the fact that Vitality had no idea how to go through the orbit middle against you guys. I'm also confused why Kron saved his Viper ult for 4 rounds. And I'm about to watch you do the exact same on this half. But you have an excuse. Like, they don't have an excuse here, really, with this comp. You have the excuse that, like, you can't explode through the orb, I guess. But I think, from what I remember watching, I haven't watched much, is that you melons most of this half because I think you don't know how to go through this orb, or we're struggling against this orb. That's my hypothesis. I was trying to do my own prep for my fucking cast, so I wasn't watching as much, but... You know the default you talked about ramp, if they could do that and force fence control, the enemy can't really control me at that point. So I mean, true, Jada. But the problem is that default then puts you in a position that isn't strong. Like, I think that if you own this part of the map and then a bit of this, like, if the enemy team reacts accordingly, like, you are in a position where you are... It's not the most... If the defense is like in these kind of spots, I feel like it's not the most comfortable position for you as an attack. There is no orb. There is no orb? Oh yeah, there is no orb. Why the fuck were you taking so long then? You've got no excuse. There's no orb middle, and you're 20 seconds left in every round. What's going on? What's going on? I've seen. It's because you threw this orb. I've looked up at the screen and thought, oh, there's a Viper orb middle. They don't know how to go through middle. And then I've realized that your own Viper orb is making you cool to the last 20 seconds. No, I don't know what happened. I just remember you having a lot of rounds where it was late, but I haven't actually watched it closely. I was, again, trying to prep at the same time. What has actually happened this round? Okay, so Breach and Tear just run away, play retake. All acceptable stuff happening. Your homie Crashes wasn't rotating from A, and I need him because of Ulpa. The rank kayak pathing should have exited middle orb on right.
Of course, you have to look at the way that Durka was playing. Very aggressive with his TPs, trying to sell fakes, trying to push into certain spots.
Oh, you literally, yeah, you all just group up in a tiny. I mean, that kind of level of micro, I'm not gonna. You can figure that one out. Fuck that. That's boring. That's boring stuff.
Yeah, they're gonna come blitzing through.
Crashy shouldn't be here right now either.
Full retake. 4 players gathered up in towards that spawn area.
Yeah, they're gonna come blitzing through. Late play by Crashies has been spotted. Making it out of here, not quite so easy. Tucked in the corner.
Oh my god. You win this round? Do you win this round? Fuck. Fair enough, I guess you just kill them. Never mind, you don't win this round. Okay. That's all the boring stuff. All the kills, kills are boring. Okay, Eco rushing the ramp. Alpha's got a Bucky. Bro. Ooh. Oh, Alpha, how do you miss that, man? It's not a great statue, is it? It's not a great statue. He's fucking shot him in the foot as well.
3 HP though.
Oh. I mean, you gave him all the orbs to last, which is good.
The man only has
Could he have played this better?
with a gun in hand, a Bulldog, the same as his opponents, one of them even tagged, and it's Chronicle.
Yeah.
He has a chance.
Okay, first gun round.
Has the same amount of kills in this half as he did the last, and that's not because he was particularly bad, it's just that he's got 2 3Ks in the first 2 rounds. We'll see if that's a...
I mean, the Viper Orbit middle is good against this team specifically, right? Is it good against this team specifically? Yes. Because of Yoru. You don't need the Prowler to go through against... If you got Orb, I feel like you don't need the Prowler. How did Sivov die here? What's his name? Is it Sivov? Or Sivo? Or Sivov? I don't know how to say. Can you just... Bro, surely just a Yoru flash here. Like, just there. And then, or like the orbs up and then you just go through. Isn't that fun? Siv. It's Saiwu. Saivov. Bro, you guys are all just guessing. You guys are guessers. Do you micro... Oh. I guess... Jake does... I can tell you right now he doesn't micro call on defense. I can tell you that one for free. On attack he does, though. Sivov. You're better at it now? Okay. Yeah, it only took you losing. It only took you losing to realize that you've got to say stuff on defense. Your current coach is a better teacher. Fair enough. I know. I think my defense win rate is pretty high. It's fine.
He's just missed Boaster. Stepping through that angle, he might catch him here. Oh, he's being caught instead. And now the door is wide open for a plant.
What actually happened this round?
Set up as well, and if one goes down, he'll have that information off the hit Fnatic.
It sure is too right. Durka in mid. Getting out of this spot can be.
I mean, you guys should have cleared middle here.
Don't be expecting this to be an A hit.
Safe just picked up the rifle as well, so that has been retrieved.
The numbers will be ready for this A push. 3 players in position. You've got to get through Less's setup as well, and if one goes down, he'll have that information off the back of his ultimate, the Neural Theft. But look at where Boaster is, still sitting outside that B site. We could easily see a wrap back through the vents to try to meet him, and the only man that could stop them would be Safe. So his hold up in heaven, and that's exactly
I mean,
what's happening.
it's a weird round
It's so important
with the
here.
1-4.
He's just missed Boaster, stepping through that angle, he might catch him here.
Yeah,
he's
and
being
if you don't get that
caught.
kill on Safe, I do wonder what happens this round. But
Safe off on the rotation, him going down. It is just a yellow brick
10
road
seconds left.
all the way back to the B site.
Planted.
Still with a lurk left in middle, so something that has to be wary from the defense. And a lot that they need to find here.
Oh, that was close. Just off by a little, and that would have really bridged the gap for Vitality. Chronicle hasn't been spotted. Taking a leaf out of Less's book.
Okay.
One pick, that'll spur them forward, but also gets Chronicle to make his play. The dagger in the back, and now they don't know how they can go forward. Constantly worried about that backstab. Less one to swing out first, does damage to Chronicle. Which is one.
Four. You're gonna have to drop down to the light shield.
do you think you'd be a better coach if you're taller? I thought about it. I have thought about this. My take is that being tall puts you in a position to be a better coach, but because I'm small, I had to work for it slightly harder, if you know what I mean. Like, I genuinely think I think if you're small, it's like genuinely slightly harder. Like, isn't there a stat about like the biggest determination of like wealth is like your height or something? That might just be some red pill nonsense though. I'm not fully trolling though. Like, if what I've just said is true, which I'm not sure it is, it does sound a bit red pilly. Then you could easily like extrapolate that like the reasons why to do with like people natural respect and stuff. So like, you know, being a leader is about having respect and all that shit, you know what I mean? But then ironically, I have read an essay about how introverts are better leaders than extroverts. But that doesn't mean that you're gonna... That doesn't mean necessarily... You might be more successful, but people might not know you're more successful. So they might not care. They might just see a short man and just be like, fuck you.
Ready to work with. B-side is the target. If they can get that pit down, there's a lot of trouble for Vitality.
Can you please suggest some matches to watch to understand how I should play Thatcher? EG versus Fnatic, I guess, is probably the best examples, from what I remember.
Taking a big heavy tag down to 45 HP. Good pickup. B-side is the target. If they can get that pit down, there's a lot of trouble for Vitality, but Sivov able to pick off the first.
Wait, let me Google height and salary correlation. Why is
But taking a big heavy tag down to 45 HP. Good pickup by Durka, and they thought the Kayak had left. They thought the utility had cleared him out, but he gave his position away. Boaster on 8 is the last man standing. And he
Wait, one sec. I got some drama. Okay, I'll look more into the height thing later. I just got linked something about what was from people. DVM versus Job Life. Apparently, DVM fans are going full hooligan and the police getting involved, and our Job Life are refusing to play. Oh, what's going on? What's going on? Oh, there's drama. Where's chat? Chat disabled? Fuck. There's some shit going on. What's going on here? Any spammers? It's just emotes. Okay. Okay, we'll keep track of the drama. We'll keep track of it. We will keep track of that.
2 rounds behind after a 5
One of the Job Life people was hit?
This is looking like the game is
Jeez.
over.
It's not just drama.
Crazy thing is, I feel like
Jesus
started
Christ.
one off with like the craziest game of aim training you've ever seen. It's like, okay, I gotta pick up
I
the
would
ball,
not I would
this
not
guy
respect my leader if he was 4'10". What?
Spot moment, honestly, like safe being caught. He checked that spot moments ago. Dirk being caught. With that,
Totality, but Zivov able to pick off
Just
target.
straight B hit.
Get that pit.
The alpha's been farmed.
Reaper's Pit ready to work with.
What could they have done? This is just one of those, like...
That is the target.
Oh, he's gone before a flash, right? Shouldn't there be a flash here?
Down. There's a lot of
I don't like this shit. This stuff's boring. This stuff is just like, both you fix this. I can't be bothered to look at this. This is boring.
even if it's annoying.
Well, Chronicle
This is boring shit.
pit down.
He's not flashed. He should be flashed. Is the TLDR.
Pick off the first. He's already TP'd into the back of the site, but he's not got any real opportunities. Barely avoiding the breach utility.
Thank you, Val.
Taking a big
Thank you for
heavy
the sub. I appreciate that.
45 HP. Good pickup by
What's
Dirk.
going on?
They thought the kayak had left. They thought the utility had cleared
Kayak.
at 5 HP.
Kayak!
Pickup by Dirk, and they thought the kayak had left.
Shoot him!
They thought the utility had cleared him out, and any longer. This is looking like.
One off with shoot the guy to do it.
That's the thing. One of them knew. It was a good point though. He thought he TP'd out very
Okay,
nearly,
Eco.
but could have cost them the round. In another world.
Thank you, Arch. Appreciate the sub. Hype train incoming, guys. Get the hype train choo-chooing. Put the call in the train.
That would have. Fnatic down on pistols.
With
though,
the
and I
longer
wanna see-
time goes on, we're just gonna
T1
realize that Mini's a fraud.
There we go. This is a perfect example to show Sticky Theory. And I apologize for that noise. It's very loud and it's very annoying, but I don't know how to do it. You're surprised how little set XX Fnatic tried to do with Double Duelist. Oh, bro, please. No, the science didn't fix, no. The problem is that they don't have Omen or Breach. So, like, you can't do as many just set go strats, you know? They don't have the support util.
It's a classic buy at full eco for the squad. How things have been going. Should be a Vitality clean up. Though the first is a trade.
Please don't tell me that Vitality loses round.
Classics.
Oh, we're 60... Oh, I got like a hype-ometer. 64% hype, guys, on level 1. That's all stuff that I don't know what it means, but congratulations. Congratulations, everyone. We're 64% hype, which is more hype than I've ever been before.
Yeah, I know for
Last brand in the sheet. They're called
having that possibly through it being so good. Okay, made sure that he
coached him out. Busy. Good to seeing in that in coach spots, but him getting his chance.
Would
especially
you
in a team
smash
like
the
this.
Lorax? No. No, I would not smash the Lorax, no. No.
I don't think that's a chance that
That's...
let fumble anytime soon.
There's gotta be one... What's that Pulp Fiction reference where it's like...
They've got their full buy. They've got some ultis to work with as well. Still waiting to see Crash.
I can't reference it now, it's gonna sound bad. I'm not gonna do it.
Play. And it doesn't matter. The Viper's got a bite to it in the pit or not.
I think he was literally like
Pokemon Smasher Pass. Oh, I've got... You know that the Fnatic guys are all collecting Pokemon cards? I joined them last week, and my theme for my deck is Sussymon. And so I have... Do I have it here somewhere, actually? I don't know where it is. Oh, here it is. So Colin gave me this little thing. I don't know what it is, like little booklets to put the Pokemon in. And then basically I opened like 80 euros worth of cards and gave the good ones to Yinsu. And then the one that caught my eye the most was this one called Flabebe. I don't know if you can see it. One sec. Can you see Flabebe? Little flower, you know, just doing his thing, shooting pollen. Like, I thought that was like the most sus thing I've ever seen, to be honest with you. Like, yeah. Like, I'm not gonna describe what I think is going on there, but we'll get it up on Google Images one sec. But that to me is pretty sus. That's pretty sus to me. That's pretty sus. Yeah. The other ones, the next one is Orthworm. Orthworm's pretty sus. But Yinsu pulled a card yesterday that was going to add to my collection. Some of these aren't very sus, though. Some of these, like, people are giving me them thinking they thought they were sus, but I'm going to be honest, I think some of these aren't that sus, but, yeah. There'll be a show and tell one day when I've completed my, you know. Do you have a moon... Wait, what? What's going on? What am I watching? What have they said before this?
It actually is making eye contact as it sucks dick.
Jesus Christ.
That's fairly sus.
That is the perfect pleasure squid.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay, so I'm not the first person to have thought about Sussymon.
Continue that space. That's the thing. Look at where the rest of the players are, though. They are spread across the map. You've got
Anyway, Detour aside. Pokemon Detour aside. A main default. Yeah, I'm surprised by Fnatic's not... They're not exactly super fond of middle. Maybe it's to do with this op.
Still waiting to see Crashies once they get the side, put that Viper's pit into play. It doesn't matter if Viper's got a bite to it in the pit or not.
lined up perfectly for Durka, but look to continue that space. That's the thing. Look at where the rest of the players are.
But this orb is still very awkward for defense. Like, at all times, it's gonna feel awkward to be stood here or here, and then just be staring at a fucking Viper orb that they could just burst through at any moment. So I do like this orb for Fnatic. I think the orb is frustrating to deal with. The counter to that, though, is that, like, game plan wise, I'd be just thinking about using the space more if I'm defense, I guess. And my hunch would say is that, you know, if they lack the orb here, and then we have less ability to feel comfortable around middle, I guess you can just play the top of ramp a bit more.
Heavily here, and I thought, okay, maybe you'd look at the ults and see like a
What's going on? Is this our response to everyone saying that, like, the K-popification? It's just now we're just hooligan. We're just going the full other way. We're just gonna hooligan it.
on left to hold on to B if they go that way. And honestly, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, putting a Cypher Trip there is a good idea. The Cypher Trip is a decent idea against this too. I like that. Because it just forced them actually to commit with the orb on some level. Yeah, I like that. I think that's a good response to it.
The rotations coming in, but it's surely not. They're taking a while to get to backside. Actually, they'll be here on time to come to Nothing Thunder. Have one
From the shadow, hold on.
And from Breach alongside Salvos and an Armageddon can easily turn the tide.
So I remember Mitch talking about this, but this is just a full retake setup from last. He's not looking for much. He's just looking for a potential cage kill, and then they're going to use... They wanted to use the tail to retake, I guess. Maybe even the Aura ult, but...
Rolling Thunder almost easily turned the tide of a side take. It has, and the rotation's coming in, but it's surely not. They're taking a while to get to backside, actually. They'll be here on time to potentially disrupt that plan, depending on utility, and with 12 seconds,
Yeah.
that's not ideal. In comes the Armageddon.
Why is this so melons?
Have Viper's deep hold towards B, and okay, the rest of the players. Milliseconds. His opponent was quicker on the trigger. The rest of Kayak's taken to leave him in position. Ults and see like a from the shadows. There's a chance for a quick rotation. It's not that. They are fully reliant on less to hold on.
Understand it, yeah. You play the retake if needed, and with the ults that they have, why not?
And it's less.
And it's less. But of course, Rolling Thunder almost being online.
I think the... wait.
Hold on to B if they go that
I think that Crashy should be joining here right now. And we need to brute force through a little bit, like ulting up somewhere. Like, I think we're wasting time, but I think that's the big time save here. I think.
way. And honestly, I'm okay with it.
I can understand it, yeah. You play the retake if needed, and with the ults that they have, why not?
And it's less.
And it's less. But of course, Rolling Thunder almost being online, but
All we need to do is get. We could even ult just passive if we want to, and then Kron just needs to ult the rafters, right? Like around here somewhere, I guess. Where does he?
it has
Kron isn't. Yeah, Kron needs to think about his ult more. Because he insta wins the round if he gets the ult down.
Salvos and an Armageddon can easily turn the tide of a side take. It has, and the rotation's coming in, but it's surely not. They're taking a while to get to backside, actually. They'll be here on
Good
time
to see you can coach still.
disrupt that plan, depending on utility, and with 12 seconds,
I got some news for you. I don't know if you know, but it's kind of funny.
A huge piece of ore, but this
Glow. The Nightfall gave the game away. Yeah, as said, that was an almost initiator.
Wait, I need coach cam reactions.
And as said, he's someone that is just incredible.
Okay, not too much.
Weaponry now, a bit of an issue. Ultimates either online or getting close, other than the one that was utilized in the last round. And while Dirk is already going to kick things off with a pick. This was one of the guns as well, right? Yes, Kayak's just picked it up.
That last coming down to the wire, putting Vitality neck and neck, putting the economy ahead for them. This is huge. Yeah, the damage done to Kayak is massive. Again, that Viper's Pit still online for Fnatic in a round like this. You'd love to have it. But with Chronicle picked off early, that option completely gone, and with it, a lot of the hope for this round to fall into their hands. Alfie, Fnatic, yeah, the damage done.
You can equalize when it weaponry now, a bit of an issue. Ultimates either online or getting close, other than the one that was one of the guns.
Vitality done to have it. But with Chronicle picked off early, that option.
I think from the last round though, I think it's like you could talk about the transitions here being like not effective, but there is something to say about the fact that if you're gonna start A-sided defaults, you're gonna be in situations more, I feel like, where the time's gonna go low, and I think that's probably something you need to think about, I guess. Like you're 1-1-3 or 1-1 or like 1-2-2 quite a lot.
One of those rifles fighting solo, not able to find a result, and very quickly turns tail from mid. They're gonna group up.
Like again, like this the time is getting low because you start A.
See, like Kayak 6 HP with the
Group up first, well, Safe maybe getting a little bit more information than he bargained for. Takes a tag, solid paranoia. Zivov decides to delay instead, and with doing a great job. With back they go towards the A site. Durka homed in with the sniper.
Yeah.
But he gets taken, and they just about
Wait.
Durka homed in with the sniper, but he gets taken out by Althea. You mentioned that rifle, it's still in hand again. They need to cross to the side. Just about spot out Safe in the last second. Althea's revenge from what was that previous half.
Alpha fucked up here.
Even has the showstopper, nobody.
I think you should know here that you don't shoot there.
It's gonna be facing, but shoots it a little early.
Like shooting there is like the only way you die, right? You shoot and then you die. But it's what it is. Alpha undercommitted. Once he pulled the ult, he should be like he should like start walking this way and just see if there's anything here to shoot at. And then like he just needs to figure out if he needs if he's able to go here or here. He probably just needs to fall back to here. Like come here and then shoot the he comes to here, shoots the rocket this way or this way, and then just escapes through the ramp or something. But what he's doing is just killing himself right now.
It's gonna be facing, but shoots it a little early. That gives Seaworth a chance.
Yeah, that's tough. Showstopper even just to buy that extra.
Wondering during this game with the yeah, that's interesting. So you're saying that you're wondering if you should do the wall like this. If you do this orb. I would say no, given the way that Fnatic played this game. But I would say yes in the context of like a playbook that's a bit more mid-centric. My reasoning is that like they're doing a lot of like 2 or 3 people here and using the ramp actually. And if you're using the ramp, you kind of want like the safety of this part of the wall. So that you can actually go up and explore the space a little bit. And then potentially even use the vents if you want to. If you're more mid-centric, then this part of the wall is still important for like coming this way, I guess, but like it's not as important as I said out loud. Like this part is more important. Like if you want your lurker, if you're like a 1-3-1 and you don't have this section of the wall, then it's going to be more difficult for the lurker to like walk up, I guess, a bit more. But as we see, Kron just rip off Durka's head once or twice. Like I think that it's not the end of the world if you don't have the orb here, I guess. So I've talked myself around in a circle, but you know, there's considerations.
But they were able to light over here, like the second standing. You wanted to pick, they were able to get a showstopper, but things read on a kick set.
Especially when light a little quieter, now under heavy on in favor of the next.
He's been silenced. Like that's it. He's been silenced. And again, we mentioned it when we talked. Now we're seeing the other side of it. It can be Raz, Drift at least, and a Viper's Pit.
Why did we waste 30 seconds?
That's 14 and 14. Yep. Mentioned.
I think we're scared of the orb so badly.
Immediately.
Oh, okay.
Try and take that space, but it's a ruse
That's cute.
to the other side
Okay.
of the map. Hayek is going to look to get them in and something to hold on.
So using the prep, knowing that like Vitality know the strat.
Immediately.
I quite like this idea.
Try and take that space, but it's
The problem is because our strategy involves not using the orb here, we've died. So quite difficult to actually avoid the death here, I think.
a ruse for the other side of the map.
We? I say we for everyone though. Whichever team I'm VOD reviewing gets we. You know what I mean? I'm watching Fnatic more than Vitality here, so they become the we.
Thins the herd and again.
Just gotta wait for dog.
Side of the map.
True.
Hayek is
Yeah,
gonna
true.
Try and take that space, but it's a ruse for
Is that alpha?
the side of the
Nah,
map.
that's everyone. Okay.
Durka thins the herd and again. Around where Chronicle wants to put that ult into play. Kayak with a risky maneuver, but they needed to recover something on that push. Unfortunately, it's left them in a really tough spot. 5v2 now, it's safe, taking down Alfier and Krangles for now.
And if it has, I feel like Vital confidence flowing after some quieter starts. I don't know, I think there needs to be something drastic to change for Fnatic if they're going to be able to take this map home.
Decent enough investment from Fnatic. They'll still have mostly credits for the next, and any weaknesses can maybe be bolstered down by a site take with a pit going down. But with Chronicle's first deaths so far, not sure that that's something you want to build a plan around. Vitality have done very well at being disruptive, whether it's Durka, something you want to build a plan around. But with Chronicle's first deaths so far,
See, in this very moment, the Viper orb you're using looks like it's a defense orb.
not sure that that's something
Do
you
you know
want
what I
to build a plan around. Vitality.
Like it's almost like you are helping them on some level. I know you're kind of not, but like you smoked Mel, and now like you're blocking yourself off.
Very well at being disruptive, whether it's
I think the orb is good in general, but in that moment, it was a bit weird.
As well, from say, like we're used to him. I go back a year or two, just first man in taking battles, but I think his salvos have been so disruptive. A good start though. That's less down, and a lot of the time that's a solo anchor. You can see Alfie is going to try make a move off of it. The stun is perfect. The supportive util for
What's Sivo doing?
move off of it. The stun is a solo anchor. You can see Alfie is going to try make a move off of it. The stun is perfect. The supportive util for Bozda.
And before this 9, they go this coordinator, which is exactly what they get. Crashes with a double. And
Fnatic played no Vice this year, right? I wonder why they're not Vice believers. I think they were.
Out of 2.
They were fucking around with Alpha's role a little bit in kickoff, and then probably didn't have time. Like if Alpha had grinded Vice when it came out, like it'd be different, I guess, or something. Are you retired as a coach? I mean, I could come back, but I don't. Like, I will take offers at the end of the year to see what's out there, but I'm not like 100% on what I'm gonna do. You know what I mean? Like, I don't plan on coming back, and I don't not plan on coming back. Does that make sense? Did you ever feel... what a loaded question. Did you ever feel during your time at Fnatic you're bailed out by the player quality more than you'd like? I'd say no, because there was only 1 year in which we got bailed out by player quality. You know what I mean? And in that year, I think we still played strategically better than every other team. So, like, you know, what am I supposed to say? Before that, I think that there was a narrative. I think the narratives around us before 2023 were a little... I don't think they were good narratives. Like, they were... I don't think people were good enough analysts to judge the player quality on our team at that point. Like, we had good teams, but I think that Durka was by far our best player in that era, and it wasn't even particularly close. When Alpha joined, sure, things were starting to look better. But that year, I think that Boaster, Mystic, and Enzo all had, like, tournaments that were a bit, like, not so great, you know? Like, I'm not going to exaggerate. Like, all three of them had some tournaments where it was, like, kind of rough, you know? And I think having... Like, that's why I was so impressed with Gen G with Lakia, because Lakia was struggling a lot. And they were still able to do as well as they did, despite the fact that they had a player on their team that was, like, struggling that hard. So I had a lot of respect for what they did. Like, if they became, like... They were, like, close to becoming, like... in the GOAT team, like, argument. You could still put them in the argument, I think, but, yeah, it was, it was impressive. Like, I think, for instance, like, I don't love calling out, like, Sideshow here, because, like, I don't have any problem with Plat Chat or the way they do stuff, but, like, for instance, in one tournament, Durka was apparently the worst duelist in our group, and he thought that, like, Magnum and Mystic were far better support players than the rest of the players in the group. And, like, I think that Magnum and Mystic are, you know, they're very good support players, but I think to put, like, Durka at, like, the bottom of his role, but then put Magnum and Mystic at the top of their role is a very weird narrative, you know? Champs 21. I think so, yeah. Yeah, yeah, like, I felt sorry for him on some level, like, when Ross, like, I'm not sorry, because, like, who cares, we're all adults, but, like, it's interesting, the dynamic there, if you know what I mean, like, Rossi calling him out in person in a kind of weird way, like, I get that Rossi's being entertaining, and it was funny, but the relationship players have to Plat Chat, or, like, the narratives around the scene, I feel kind of sorry for any talent that, or analyst that it hasn't got like achievements to back it up. You know what I mean? Like I could probably flame Rossi, and Rossi probably ain't gonna be able to say the shit to me that he could to Sideshow. If you know what I mean? If that makes sense. I don't think he would like pipe up as much. So it is interesting to see that kind of dynamic play out a little bit.
They're definitely wary of. I'm a bit nervous now. Getting into the remaining 25 seconds. Off the top goes Alfia. Needs this opening onto less, and that's exactly
I don't think that Sideshow should expect a lot of the players to like him based on his very blunt way of talking about them.
And that's exactly what he's done.
I mean, okay. I mean, I don't watch Plat Chat all the time or anything, so maybe I don't.
They're looking to
Yeah.
commit to this. Understandable indeed. You've highlighted there crashes.
Like I don't know where lines are yet, and I'm trying to figure out my own lines for stuff because I like to be very honest about my thoughts on players, but at the same time, there's no point of being like a fucking dick. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that anyone is being a dick there. I think everyone's doing their role, but. And I guess it's different being on Plat Chat than it is on broadcast. Like on Plat Chat, they're probably going to rail people a bit more, and then on broadcast, they've got to like. That is the irony of Plat Chat sometimes. Like, again, I like Plat Chat, but like the irony of like, oh, some people are saying this about you as a player, and it's like, yeah, that's what you said yesterday on Plat Chat. You set up that narrative, you know what I mean?
Utilizing those Armageddon ults, but he was the one sort of blip. The fact he's able to get, and it's kind of what I said about him. Like sometimes maybe you could show him out of a game.
He says Sideshow is a dick. No, absolutely not. Sideshow is very good for the scene. He's very good at talent, and he's very good at the Plat Chat stuff.
A little bit tougher for Vitality, of course. Not done yet. They still have a purchase. Safe actually going to be the one manning the operator now.
I think that there's like obviously I've got both sides of it to some degree now. Like, and it's interesting to see. I think that I grew up a lot after like 2023 with it all, because like before 2023, I think I was one of the immature people who like, you've got to take like the outside opinion from quote experts for what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Like, it's not, you know. You know, people. I think people put way too much stock in it as players. Like at the end of the day, it's an entertainment product. And some things are going to be wrong, and some things are wrong because they're like bad analysis or something. But sometimes it's just bad because like, how are you supposed to analyze this stuff when you have no idea what's going on in the team? Like, you know.
Not going to be watching it at all as they now look to late commit to mid control and take over a little bit of B main.
There's some dumb shit happening from Fnatic here. That's pretty dumb. Like, we haven't waited for a flash, we haven't waited for a Prowler, like, some dumb picks. It's almost like because Fnatic are so scared, they're like a team that's afraid of oops. They end up becoming so scared that they like almost, like, somehow manage to just die being stupid or something, I don't know. There's some weird theory I've got about the amount of times we would think about how to counter this, but then we have just died like noobs, so I don't know. Waiting for a flash or Prowler should probably be the play. It's not that difficult, is it? I don't think so. You think they take it too far sometimes? They are being unnecessarily disrespectful in the G2 NRG game. Like, I get it was a stomp, but they were casting the game, but they were flaming them like they were in Plat Chat. It was a try-cast in the brief was for that week for them to take it more chill and relaxed and see what the product feels like when the broadcast is more relaxed. And if it's more relaxed, you're going to get more jokes and flame and stuff. I don't think NRG should have, you mean? I don't think NRG should have any problems with being called out for that game. Like, if I'm NRG, there's more stuff going on than us losing. Like, there's more stuff going on that's bad than some people flaming us.
Also a showstopper for Alfia.
A lot of these rounds have been done before we got to the retake.
Like, I'm a bit worried if you think that about that game. I'm a bit worried because, like, if I was watching that game, I probably would have flamed NRG pretty hard. I would be gassing up G2 as much as I could, but at a certain point,
Gonna change it up again. Does it
like,
go back on
I
the
don't know how it comes across when I'm casting with Pansy, but like, there are times where like,
these ultimates end up
she
being
says that she
situational.
can see my face is just like,
The picks go the way of Fnatic
like,
for the most part.
disgusted. Like, you know what I mean?
Easy solution for Fnatic in going Showstopper for entry and then Viper's Pit to claim the site. But that 1-2 punch is going to be expected, and often Vitality will play back from it now in terms of what they have to respond.
Rossi getting mad about people flaming him after those 2 weeks.
Alongside Salvos, alongside, well, yeah, exactly. We've got Seabot playing inside.
What does he expect? Yeah, that's something too. I don't know. Can you cast a Furia game with Pansy Hypot Tricast? I think I would probably like. I'd end up trying to replace a player on the team mid cast and let me play instead, maybe.
Might be made. But the utility that's in play for Vitality, minus the drone now, could easily.
I think it did. If I said that on broadcast, would that would be pretty bad, right? I think that would be pretty bad.
Could still be there, but late on, that's exactly what the play is going to be. Leaving the pit late into mid, fired up into heaven was the showstopper. But
This smoke is. Have you seen this smoke people are doing now? Like, I talked about it on a cast, and it gives. I think it just helps attack sometimes. I think Boaster referenced it as a smoke that it was like interesting, but I do think that it just gives all the space to the attack.
is going to be leaving the pit late into mid.
And let's see. Like, let's actually watch this round out properly and see if the smoke helps or it doesn't help. Like it gives like it's almost it feels a bit like chess where like you know we've got connecting rooks here. We do have connecting rooks, at least.
Looking to retake that space, kicks inside of utilities, pushing forward alongside his teammates.
But like, it feels like we've got like a nice we can chill, relax, try and get the spike down. Like I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't even think Roger Seaman's mad. My interpretation of it is that like if you say to someone, at least you don't pretend to know what you're talking about, like you're probably on some level a little hurt. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. This step up has been night and day, and you look back, I think since that whiff that he had, and the 3
Like,
bullets shot
it's
into his corpse. I don't know whether that got in his head, but definitely the performance
Yeah.
hasn't been there. There's been some whiffy moments, but he's warmed up now. He's getting excited. He's on his feet. Also a check-in as we get into our first round of overtime. Chronicle will not have the an opportunity to use it, and I think that feeds highlighting because like I had it the whole game, but they never had an opportunity to use it, and I think that feeds into Vitality.
Mitch, see here, Mitch here. Like I wonder,
Like I had it the whole game,
like he's calling out Kron almost for the Viper ult thing, but he's like doing it in a way that's like he's like.
but they never had an opportunity to use it, and I think that feeds into Vitality's aggressive, disruptive comp. How in their face they were being, and how unlucky.
I think if I Mitch that, I just flame. Just say, why the fuck hasn't used his ult?
Early duels, he was the guy taking the flack of the op shot.
Go back in level.
But again, like I'm wondering if that's like one of those things where it's like Mitch doesn't want to flame because he might get shit back. Like it's easier for me in my position to I can be wrong, I can be confidently wrong, and people won't be dicks to me. You know what I mean? Like it's the privilege I have.
Overtime in map number 1.
I'm gonna start just being confidently wrong. That might be fun. What if I just say absolute nonsense? I just get away with it because all you noobs are you guys have no clue, do you? I could just be confidently wrong. You're gonna be like, oh, Mini's saying it, so I must be right. Sliggy will call me out. Nah. This guy, that fraud ain't gonna know.
This time around, it's the utility.
The guy's not coached in about 10 years.
Tight position and not letting them go. Vitality move to the A site. Got Crashies and Kayak.
Wait, what does Sliggy? Sliggy spreads misinformation. What does he spread misinformation about? Fade on Lotus, misinformation. He does love Deadlock a little bit too much, but that is what it is. Double Senti, I'll say. Double Senti, I'll say, is misinformation. He called his girlfriend chat recently. That's pretty bad.
Crashies doesn't know there's players right around this corner. The entire team, in fact, coming his way, and that cage perfectly blocks what.
He's a KO believer. Yeah, that's yucky. That's pretty yucky.
On the other side, there's 3
What do you call your girlfriend, chat? I mean, is there a joke here about me being single? There probably is somewhere.
So now he is tried to delay.
He loves the open the judge. I like that from Sliggy.
Now it just comes down to can he hold on to this backside?
Crashy just owns it here, right? What happened this round for him to have to be in this position though? They just gamble stack. Kron died middle.
Overtime in map number 1.
I mean, question. Why is our Viper not this player and our Yoru not this player? And why are we trying to do 400 IQ chess moves here? We've been conditioning all game long that the Viper's playing here. I think Yoru can just play there. It's fine. Right, the VOD review's got to stop soon because I'm gonna go.
Might be in for a long, long day. Chronicle is in trouble. He's tried these aggressive positions. A lot of times the salvos were utilized in towards the vents. He tries to play in front of the vents and they use it in front instead.
He's, again, those early fights on the attack. Didn't matter if he was first, second, or third. It felt like their bullets were just magnetized to his body. But
Watching the Arsenal game? I don't know. We're watching Champions League. I would presume Arsenal, but there is the Bayern Munich game, which is also pretty good, right? I would presume we watch Arsenal though. My friends are Liverpool and Man United supporters, so I don't think there's any allegiances.
So alone. Look, they are on the other side. There's 3 players currently on B. They gambled in completely the wrong direction. They gate crashed away from this position. So now he is tried to delay. He's utilized whatever he can. Now it just comes down to can he hold on to this backside? Can he take somebody with him?
See, I'm too...
It'll be incredibly difficult.
I'm just thinking about casting here. I'm too succinct. You know what I mean? I'm too succinct. In like a bad way. Like here, I would probably say, you know, Fnatic have stacked B. They made the wrong read. And I probably leave it there. Whereas like Tom's actually broken it down.
Currently on B. They gambled in completely the wrong direction. They gate crashed
With actual urgency in his tone.
So now he is tried to delay. He's utilized whatever he can.
So,
Now
fair play.
deal with him.
From this guy back in the
And got scut. Oh yeah, but Tertain we swing it in. They've stolen, turned. He was a
Gets into S Gene, like creating super soldiers, but
Okay.
whatever it is, it's working. A play that has given them an advantage. Maybe they shouldn't have had a man down
What the fuck is Mimi playing? Split Fiction?
to take them out.
The fuck is Split Fiction?
Live Eval, thank you so much for the prime.
mentality of being fighting around mid.
Okay.
Got the utility to do
You can go watch Split Fiction when I'm done.
fired right in onto them. I don't know if they noticed there's 2 players there. I think
We'll continue this tomorrow.
shots came through. Michael would have a
How much OT is there in this game?
It hasn't really been happening.
Quite a lot,
Again, this is
right?
a team that
Fuck.
is
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to
continuing
watch
that
this.
space
I have to go.
really fight them on the side
We'll
itself.
continue with OT when I'm back tomorrow.
Covering it.
Right around here, spotted that the drone came through from Tejo, that they would have A main cleared, gets himself into a corner. He's again looking for that reaction for Vitality to get it.
Okay, so baiting the reaction towards B a little bit. Gets middle free.
Is content to give up that space and
Interesting that like that's a pretty decent read there.
them on the side itself. They don't want to fight in the beaches.
Recovering it.
I haven't actually watched defense for Vitality much. Like, they didn't make any like big reclear plays or anything. I do think that that is something. Like Vitality's defense was never looking too great, was it? The first game they played, it was looking okay with the Viper, but again, they just played a Viper at middle, and then the other team didn't know how to go through it. It's just sadness stuff. But we're never seeing any kind of like. It doesn't look like we ever see like salvos to like reclear here or like stuns, or like I haven't seen a single fight towards middle or anything. I don't think they. My hunch is they're not playing the comp to like full potential. Like they're probably playing it fine. But I haven't seen anything like super cool. Mimi got rid of Petra. Yeah, that's true. Backstabbing. Snake behavior.
Still 2 on the side though. Do they have the read? Kicks finds one and from the smoke comes safe. 6 seconds.
It's not confirmed though.
Kicks 12 seconds.
Why is this melons again?
He found alone on site.
God almighty. You guys taking your fucking sweet time.
Cruxes of the
Seconds
maybe
left.
they had a pick by them. Maybe
Just
they had
fucking
something
taking
going on.
ages.
Safe is still everything for them. 20 seconds left on the clock. He's now got kicks alongside. And that said, he has bought them extra time.
Yeah. Y'all just taking fucking your sweet ass time. Right, I'm gonna...
Maybe everybody's a
We're gonna
bit
see this
more
coach cam reaction.
but, it's just absurd.
I quite like that one, actually.
Just absurd.
I like that one. Where's the coach cam? Here we go. Faded. Happy versus Fnatic split. Okay. Right. I'm gonna go. Any funny ones. Just funny ones. Funny ones. I don't know what I'm gonna use them for yet, but they need to just be funny. This is quite funny. Right. I'll raid Mimi. Go watch that. Oh no, I'll raid Meg. Meg's playing. Oh, what's she doing? She's doing some subathon thing. Meg or Mimi? Who else is around? It doesn't really matter. Mimi? Okay, I'll just go. I'm gonna raid Meg. There we go. Right, have fun. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll do more tomorrow. Okay.